Thank you all for joining us this morning, and we're really excited to have the opportunity to see you guys and interact with you guys today as part of our Council in the Classroom series. This program is sponsored by the Dennis and Phyllis Washington Foundation. Since we're a little short on time this morning, I would love to just say a few words about our guest, and then we'll hand it over to John Dau, and he'll do a brief presentation and then offer some opportunities for discussions. We are honored to host John Dau on his first trip to Montana, and we had shown him on the map where all of your schools are located, and he's quite excited to be here today. He has a remarkable story and some moving words to share with you about the work he's doing in South Sudan, and we're honored to have him with us. So without further ado.
Hello, how are you today? Thank you very much, Avery, and thank you, all of you, for dialing in today to listen to what I would share with you, the story that I call a living testimony. By the way, as they said before, this is my first time to come to your state. That's a great, beautiful weather, and I hope you, all of you, when you go out, when you go back, you will maybe have something to tell to your friends, your classmates, your family members, sharing a story with you, and of course you will share it with somebody else. What I'm going to talk to you this morning is I'm going to tell you about my life story. It's what I call a living testimony because it's about me. I'm still alive, and of course maybe some of you will get it and then tell it to other people. That's so the story leap from me to you, and then from you to somebody else, and that's why I call it living testimony. And that living testimony is about my life when I was in my country. You know now that I was not born here in the United States. I came to America 13 years ago. But what brought me to the United States is what I'm going to talk to you about. You know, maybe some of you might have heard about Sudan or South Sudan. There are three things about my country. South Sudan, or Sudan before it split into two, Sudan was known for three things. One is the largest country in Africa. It was the largest country in Africa. Two is the country being divided into two by the longest river, River Nile, running from the south, of course, Uganda and then South Sudan and all the way up to Egypt. The third thing about our country is a country being known by civil wars, been fighting each other since 1955. That war started in 1955, ended in 1972. Yet another war started in 1983 and ended in 2005. One more again, the wars, the latest war started in 2003, and the one started in 2013. So this is a country been fighting each other for a long time. Maybe you will ask, why are they fighting and who are they fighting? So who are this group that are fighting each other? It's all of the above. It's about religion, it's about ethnicity, it's about economic, it's about all of the things that you could think of. And so we never got any peace. I mean, we never had a peaceful movement in South Sudan and in Sudan as the entire country been fighting each other for a long time. So what I'm going to talk to you about is the war started in 1983. It started when I was a young boy. Before they get to my village in South Sudan, before the war got into my village in South Sudan, we were okay. My village, I used to take care of my father's cows, goat, sheep. My brothers and I would go out, take care of them. You know, in the United States, where you guys are, your cows are put in one place and then grass there. In our case, they just wander. They go anywhere else, and then the boys follow them. There was no school, there was no hospital, nothing at all. But we were very happy. Our country was the country that was described as the country that flew with milk and honey.
The conference recording has ended.
You see, my my family's attending weddings, ceremonies, and we were very, very happy. But as the North been fighting, coming to South Sudan, come by, attacking village after village, village after village, it didn't get to my village in Duke County until
Welcome to Polycom Conference
until
Recorder Playback
1987.
Service.
At that time, I was 12 years old. This is when they got to my village. So the adults were, talking about if our village was attacked, where we would go. Do we go to the north? Do we go to the east? Where do we, run to? And so it was something you could see. Adults were very, very scared. One night in 1987, when my brothers and I were sleeping in our own house, and the bombardment, the whistling of bullets woke us up in the middle of night. My mother was calling outside, Miss Barkabe. That's a Dinka statement saying, children, get out. And we got out, and from there we were, separated. So I was running after a man that I thought was my father. So as I was running up, after him, it turned out to be a different man, and my neighbor. So that night, my brothers and my father and my mother took their own direction. I took my own direction. Along the way, as we're moving away from the village, all our houses were burned down, all cows were looted, girls were taken to northern Sudan to become slaves, and women were killed, others were raped, men were killed. So it was a total destruction. So we moved away from the village with that man that I thought that of course became somebody who was taking care of me at the age of 12. And so along the way, as we're going to Ethiopia, from my village to Ethiopia, to get to another country called Ethiopia, it took us about 3 months. There was nothing to eat. There was no food. We only live on wild fruits. We go and find wild fruits or chewing grass like a cow so that we stay alive. There was no food. There were no clothes to cover yourself. At night was very cold. Along the way we were attacked by many wild animals such as hyenas, lions, and killed some of the boys. Others died of starvation. Others died of thirst. So we were, first of all, we were 2, and then later 5, and then 19, and then 27. By the time we got to Ethiopia, we were only 4. So we lost about 23 of the lost boys. We got to Ethiopia. We were put together as a group of 50 people, and then some were coming from different directions, from different villages in South Sudan, get into Ethiopia. Then we were put into a group of 50. 50 people were a family. I was picked because I was taller than the other boys. I was picked to become a leader of one group. Later, my group started from 50 people to 1,200 boys. Their age was from age 5 to age 15. So these boys crying every day. There is nothing I can do to them. I just tell them tomorrow will be better. They want to drink milk. They want to eat food. They want to see their mom. There's nothing that I can do. Maybe lie to them that tomorrow will be better than today. As the life move on, as the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, known as UNHCR, knew about us, and they came to Ethiopia, and giving us food, disease such as cholera, typhoid, whooping cough, malaria, measles, were killing boys every day. I remember in my own group, 2 or 3 boys dying every day. We could take their bodies to bury them so that we can give our brothers dignity. If we come back the next day, following day, we could find the bodies of those we buried yesterday eaten by wild animals such as lion or hyena. That was a very graphic part of our life story. But we didn't give up. We stayed there for 4 years. The World Food Program and others gave us food, continue to give us food, and some clothes. If they give you bottom, somebody else will get the top. So about almost 4 months, 4 years then in Ethiopia, our life was getting better. And so the government of Ethiopia, which was good to us, was overthrown by Ethiopian rebel based in northern Sudan. Now the new government of Ethiopia didn't like us to be there, and so they want us to leave their country. So the number of the lost girls and some adults, we became 27,000. As we're moving back to South Sudan on barefoot, there was nothing, there were no buses, no cars, nothing at all, and no even shoes on our feet. And so we're moving back to South Sudan. Before we cross back into South Sudan, there's a river called Gilo infested with a lot of crocodiles in it. So as we're trying to cross the river, there was no way. Some of us did not know how to swim. And so we were trying to find a way to tie a rope to a tree on one side of the river and then have somebody swim to the other side and tie the other end, so that for those who do not know how to swim can just slide over. I mean, can help them get to the other side. It took us about 3 days to figure out how we could cross it. Remember, our number was 27,000, so huge number of people. Then one day, around 3 p.m., the Ethiopian sent troops after us and they started shooting at us. They killed some of the boys. Some of the boys drowned, others eaten by crocodiles, others lost, others captured. I, plus others who were better lucky, would cross the river. I didn't know how I crossed it at that time. So we went back to a place called Pochala, controlled by Sudan People Liberation Army. This is a very good group that is fighting, resisting the North. And so they welcome us. We share their food. 9 months later, we all ran out of food. So we start selling our clothes for food. And they make a matter worse. The Sudan government sent a Russian-made aircraft known as Antonov, bomb us twice every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, kill some of the boys. So we decided to move to the interior part of South Sudan to a place called Kapoita. From there to Kapoita took us about 6 months to get there. Some the boys abducted along the way, some killed, some just died because of starvation and thirst. We managed to get to Kapoita. There in Kapoita we were attacked. We moved to another place called Nairuz. In Nairuz we were attacked again, and then in 1992 we crossed into a different country called Kenya. Now, coming to Kenya was good because the Kenyan government would not allow Sudanese troops to cross into their territory, and it was nice. Another nice thing about coming to Kenya at that time was that they built a very small medical clinic, and that was really good and nice thing. But the good thing yet to go to Kenya was that they start schools. They start giving us education. Appreciate United Nations for doing that. And our classroom were under trees. You sit on the dirt using your finger as a pencil to write things. A teacher will go around and see. So what you have to do is that get a place in front of you, very nice place to write things. Even during examination, so a teacher will come around and teacher using charcoal as a chalk to write things on the board. It was good. We did that for three months, about, and then the United Nations could not find resources to build our classroom, and so we ended up even studying under trees for 3 years. See, I started my education when I was 17 years old. In 1992. This is when I started to learn A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. So I've never been to any school of any kind before. So that was good because I was getting education. Now you work hard. When you work hard, you get good grades. Your teachers will give you what? They will give you an award. What is an award? They will just cut a book like this. In America it's called notebook. Well, they cut this notebook into 3 so that 3 of you can share this, cut it this, and then, and so these were given to people who work hard. Get a pencil and cut it into 3 so that you can be able to write using a pencil. It was good. So you got to work hard so that you can get a piece of a book or a piece of pencil. We work hard and so on until I get to 1999 when I was in my 11th grade. Then came American. The American came, the way the American looked at that time, to me, looked very tall guy with long noses, And the way they talk, they speak as if they're speaking through their noses. But their English was very difficult to understand. But what they were telling us is that they would take us to the United States. We didn't believe them. Again, they came back in 2000 when I finished my high school, came back in 2000, and they start doing paperwork, taking some of the boys to Nairobi. Nairobi is the capital city of Kenya, and it was good. Now it became a reality that they're going to take us to the United States. Now talking about America is everywhere. People are have this, perception about the United States. They say, if you go to America, America is a very good country. You can be, it's okay to be lazy in America. Because if you are lazy, the American people will get a green card and tie it in your neck. And you go to any restaurant and eat for free. You just show this is my green card, and then they will allow you to eat for free. I said, that's a very nice country. Others were saying, if you go to America, it's a country you have very good technology, of which, of course, I believe in that. That they have very good technology, and the technology is all in the restaurant as well. So what you do is you want to eat in a restaurant, you go to a restaurant you can find, and then inside there are big tables. So you sit on one big table, and the top of that table there are some buttons on it. There is a chicken button, there's a beef button, there's a vegetable button. So what you got to do is just push chicken button, and chicken coming rolling from nowhere. I said, this is nice. I like to push all these buttons, so I want to go to United States. While others were giving us some warning and said, you go to America, the American girls are crazy. And they say how crazy they are. They say, Daniel explained, he said, any girl in the United States, they carry small bags. And he said, do you know what is in those bags? I said, no. He said, they have guns in it. So if you mess up with American girls, they will shoot you. I said, this is the country you have this chicken button and women are killing people. What am I going to do? So, well, later my name came out of the water. Said, John, you're going to Syracuse, New York. I said, that's, I'll go to America if the girls are crazy. I mean, it's okay. I'm going to stay away from them. It's a nice thing. So I was flown to JFK and then to Syracuse, New York. Outside the Syracuse airport, there were 14 people from our church. They were waiting for us. And, and they, they welcome us. Say, John, welcome to America, and they're nice people, and they hug us. And well, there were 4 girls there. I didn't want to go and hug them. I may mess them up and kill me, so I stay away from them. And so they took us to our apartment. They're showing us how to turn on lights and turn on light. And this is the bathroom, this is the hot water, this is cold water, this is the refrigerator, this is that. It took them the whole day to pass us through that, through orientation. And then before they go home, this great American, they said, John, let's take you to see a grocery store. We're going to show you how to shop for your groceries. I said, okay, let's go. So as we're coming closer to this giant big store, and I was following Susan Myers, one of them, and a magic door opened itself like this. I said, I was so amazed. I said, truly, American people may be very lazy, and that's why they create all these doors to not push or hold or pull the door. Anyway, but I didn't tell them, because if I told them at that time, they may kill me. They may kill me using their gun. So we went inside the grocery store. And I saw what I saw today known as salad, giant. And I said, why? Maybe they have cows. Why do they have grass inside a grocery store? Giant grocery store, food after food. Oh my God! I would say, this as a country that is so blessed to have this giant stuff. They have this giant store, abundance. Even I came across an aisle of dog food and a cat food. I was so amazed that the country is very wealthy, that even animals own aisles. Anyway, from there, they help us. 3 months later, in Syracuse, in New York State, you help, when you come to America, you are helped for 3 months. After 3 months, you start working. I started, my first job at McDonald's, grilling hamburgers, doing dishes. My second job, maybe 2 jobs or 3 jobs. One as a security guard, the other one as a UPS inspector, doing all of this. Maybe only sleeping for 2 hours or 3 hours a day. He was very, very busy. Holding 3 jobs or 2 was very tough. So anyway, I figured out that, if I continue to work like this, I must go to school. This is where I can expand my my opportunities. Going to school is good because it will open other ways. And then I enrolled at John Community College and went to Syracuse University, get both my associate and my bachelor's degree in this those schools. And I said, you know what? What am I going to do? Now the American people help me. How am I going to pay back? So I decided to do something in South Sudan, build a medical clinic. And I formed 4 nonprofit organizations. The Lost Boy Foundation of New York, and I raised about $30,000 for the boys in Syracuse. I stepped down and I formed American Care for Sudan Foundation. I raised about over $200,000 to start building this medical clinic. I stepped down from that organization. I formed John Dau Foundation. And then my 4th one is South Sudan Institute. The last 2 are the one that I am now running. I'm the president of John Dau Foundation. We built this medical clinic. In this medical clinic, we have opened the eyes of people who are blind, about 600 people that are being helped, from the doctors from Montana, Dr. Raja Porlong, and his other fellow doctors in Utah. They came to my village and operate on 600 people who are blind, completely blind. Now they can see. Through that clinic, we have treated over 120,000 people whom we saved their life. Through that work, we have vaccinated over 10,000 children. Over 10,000 mothers gave birth to that medical clinic for the first time. We have been very successful in doing this. Not only that, some of you might have read my book. The first book, God Grew Tired of Us. The second book, Lost Boy and Lost Girl. Maybe some of you might have watched the documentary as well, known as God Grew Tired of Us. You see, I was able to bring my mother to the United States and my sister. Now, I was so lucky that even to survive, to have a wife and 4 kids, 4 children. I've been doing all the things that I've been doing, put me in contact with people I call heavy hitters, who became my friends. People like Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Nicole Kidman, Bill Cosby. All of these people that I met, and they support my work, especially Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. They supported the work that I am talking about, the clinic, for the first time. So that's really good. All these give me, and I even be able to have a home in the United States, a place that I call my house. Now, let me ask you this question. I start talking about success, what I have done. This, the clinic, the books, the movie, bringing my family to the United States. Now, do you think I'm here to show off? No, I'm not here to show off. If you have been listening to the first part of my life story before, very graphic. I didn't know why I survived from the animals attack and from the other human being attack, from starvation, from thirst. I even ended up drinking human urine so that I could stay alive from thirst. I am here. I ate mud so that I could stay alive. I chew grass like a cow. I will never ever forget things that I consumed when I was struggling to survive. I never knew that I would survive, and one day I'll call myself a dad. But all of this happened. And I know some of you who are listening right now, you might have some struggle. Some of you who are there, you might be raised by a mother, a single parent. or maybe adopted, or maybe have both, mother and father, but you struggle. They struggle making ends meet, which means struggle because they lose their job, something happened to them. All these problems happen to everyone. This is why I would like to share this story with you, so that we can compare. But there is one thing that I would like to tell you. The reason as to why I survived, I contributed to two things. One, the Almighty God. God protect my life to become who I am today. Second, I never give up. Through all those terrible struggle, suffering, I knew that I was going to survive. I knew that I want to survive. I fought through. So why is it sometimes when you struggle, very difficult to understand a lesson or getting good grade that you want to achieve? Sometimes struggle in writing a paper or doing your homework. Why sometimes we just complain? Why is that very easily we give up? These things are part of our life. You see me today? I'm in suit. I am saying that I form 4 non-profit organizations. I probably end up raising over $3 million in order to support my people in South Sudan, keep that clinic going. You see what you can get if you don't give up. Look at me. I am speaking in English, but I never started learning English until I was 17 years old. So the challenge is to you that there are some of you there might be struggling. There will be some of you there that will struggle, trying to achieve your career, trying to do very well, sometime in a relationship, and people tend to maybe try to end their life. What I'm telling you, my last word to you, is that this is part of life. Struggle and success is a package. It's a package. If you want to succeed, you must struggle. I know I'm taking more time, and I know there are beautiful questions that you have that I am really dying to answer them. So please, it's a time for answers, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'd like to go ahead and start with some questions, and let's see, maybe more. Would you like to start the questions off? You can unmute your microphone.
Yep, we do have a question, thanks.
Thank you.
How many boys did you know personally?
Ask it again.
How many of the boys traveling with, how many of them did you know personally?
Well, as I said before, that's a very good question. As I said before, I was put in charge of 1,200 boys. Some of them died. Probably those who are still alive, maybe about 600 are still alive from my group. And then I know other boys also from different group as well. We were 27,000. We're about 13 groups. And so yes, I know many. In the United States, it's about almost 4,000 of us came to America, including some girls and boys. So I don't know all of them, but I know more of them. I know majority of them. And now that with my work that I'm doing in South Sudan, actually put me in a limelight where many people know me, and I tend to not know all of them. But I know a very good number of the boys. Now they are men now, today. That's a good question.
Thank you. Let's see. Lincoln, how about you? You have some questions for Mr. Dau.
Hey, how are you doing? This is Lincoln. And our camera doesn't reach around the room, so some of the kids are going to ask questions, but you might not be able to see them. So Rianne has a question first.
So do you still keep in contact with the boys you travel with, or have you kept in contact with any of them?
My family?
Yeah.
The boys that you traveled with, do you still keep in contact with any of them?
Yes, I am. And actually in 2011, I mobilized a group called Ambassador Group. This Ambassador Group, they include people from different tribes. See, in South Sudan, we have about 64 tribes. And it's not like United States where you have big, I don't know how to call it, maybe melting pot. But in South Sudan, we have 64 tribes, and some of them came to the United States. I mobilized this group, about 27 of them, and then I took them back in 2011 to work together as brothers and sisters to tell our people, look, we can stay together in the United States peacefully, no problem. Why don't you stay together? Because we're trying to bring peace in South Sudan. So yes, I am very much in contact with them. You see in America, you have so many things. You have, mean of communications, Facebook, and of course you see all of the social stuff that we have here to communicate. Great, that is wonderful. So I am in contact with the people that I know, all of my friends.
So, John, what is the situation right now in Sudan? Is it with South Sudan splitting off? Is there peace, or is there still persecution and fighting?
Well, in South Sudan right now, you know that South Sudan is split out from the rest of Sudan. So now we have our own country known as the Republic of South Sudan. War started. There's a kind of a semi-civil war started in December 2013, and that has been going on. That little fighting has been going on, and there has been a negotiation, an effort to bring that peace to an end in a place called Addis Ababa today. So that is going on. There was a lot of killing, in South Sudan. Many people lost their lives. Even the clinic that I was talking about was looted. They ransacked it. They took all the medicine, the solar system, the generators, all the other medical equipment were taken away from the clinic, and that's why I'm trying to raise money too, to get it back once the peace is signed. Hopefully, maybe by December this year, maybe peace will be signed. Yes. So, but as we speak, the fighting have stopped because there's a ceasefire in place. And the negotiation is going on. Hopefully, it will come to an end very soon in South Sudan.
Thank you. Lincoln, do you have any other questions?
We do have, yes.
What are some of your current projects right now that you're working on with your organization?
The current project right now is that to raise money to rebuild the clinic that was destroyed. Remember, this is a clinic that have helped so many people. It became the livelihood, something that helped them, becoming iconic, something that is asset to them, that helping them, those who cannot help themselves. And so my current project at this point is to rebuild this medical clinic and also continue with my peace mission thing. And that's why Dr. Raja Porlong, with Alan Crandall, Jeff Tabin, these eye doctors, they've been coming to South Sudan. We were about to go at the end of 2013, but because of the war, I canceled the trip. And their services, their medical, eye surgeries, and medical services that they give to my people, and I tied to peace. And I said, if you want to receive this medical services, you have to pledge that you're not going to kill somebody else. You have to pledge that you're not going to attack a village or a tribe or something like that. And that's what we are doing. So that has been my current, to get this clinic back, to continue to recruit some of the lost boys to go back to South Sudan, pay for their trip, and then we talk about peace so that they know that they are one people.
I'd like to give Moore a chance to ask some questions. Moore, would you like, do you have some questions for John Dau?
Yeah, we do, thank you.
What denomination are you, like, you said you believe in God, like, what denomination are you, like, do you believe in, like, Catholic, Protestant, that stuff?
Yes, before I became Christians, my family used to believe in the rain that comes from the sky. So we used to have this god called Deng, D-E-N-G. Deng Pajarbe. If you read my book, you could also find the whole thing that I'm talking about, Deng Pajarbe. God Guru Taiva. That God, it was not alone. So my mother had a god, and so my family ended up having about 5 or 6 gods with an S. And so those gods became so expensive. For example, if you fallen sick, because there was no hospital, no doctor, no nurse, no clinic, no medicine. So when you fall sick, for example, you have typhoid or malaria, a chronic malaria, something like that, somebody in the village would say, well, they know why this child is sick, because a certain god was not given offers. So maybe my dad will slaughter a cow or a goat so that for that god to be happy. So somebody else we're gonna be sick tomorrow or next month. And then the same person will say that they know why somebody's sick. So how many cows my father was going to slaughter? How many goats? So it became so expensive. Well, when Word of God came to South Sudan around 1942, now we're talking about Jesus Christ, how you offer your heart and yourselves as becoming some love people, and so our people said, I think this is a very, very, very good God. Doesn't it want cows? Doesn't it want goats and other things? And so until later, my family now became to love Jesus and then convert, and then we believe in the Lord through a church called Episcopal Church that was there at that time. And then my family, my home had a very big tree, and that big tree became our church. Under a tree, because there was no church built, so under a tree was the church where people worship. And when the time for worship comes, I will look at the sun. When the sun is perpendicular on top of that big tree, then I start playing a drum, ding, 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 calling people, calling neighbors. That is the time to come to worship. And they all come one by one and so on, until my village was attacked. So when I was in the jungle, in the wilderness, I knew the Lord Jesus Christ. If you read Isaiah chapter 8, book of Isaiah chapter 18 from 1 up to the end, they're talking about South Sudan. They're talking about Sudan. So we knew that God is with us during that struggle. And so when I came to the United States, they said, oh, you belong to this church, you belong to that church. Well, Jesus is one. I don't care whether you're Catholic, whether you are, Protestant, as long as you believe in the Lord, you're my brother and sister.
I want to move down to North Star, and I apologize, North Star. It's your turn to ask a question now.
So how did you bring up your organization to Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt? Like, how did that get to all the celebrities, and how did it expand?
Well, if you watch this documentary called God Grew Tired of Us, it was produced by Brad Pitt. Somehow Brad was convinced by somebody else that this is a very good documentary. He supported, I think. The director of the documentary was able to get them, and they all get around it. They all support it. So at the time when there was premiere in Los Angeles, I was invited. I came there, and all of them came, which means Angelina came, Brad came, Nicole Kidman, because Nicole is the one narrating the documentary as well. So they all came. at the premiere. And that's where I met them, and Brad Pitt, came to me and said, John, we're gonna send you to the United Nations. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do that. And then he came back and said, John, we're gonna send you. So these people are really great, especially Angelina Jolie. Just great, wonderful person. That's how I met them.
I also have another question. When did your view on American women change that you knew that we weren't going to kill you?
Well, look, from that story to the time I got to Syracuse airport, as I said, there were 4 girls there, whom later I found out that they have no guns really. I mean, they're very nice people. American girls are just great. Beautiful, wonderful, sweet, lovable, and so I have never heard any girl shooting anybody. So those were those perception. I don't know where did they get it? Maybe from a movie, maybe a girl playing something and maybe using a gun and so on. Well, it became that way, and so we were so suspicious of girls, American girls, until we came here. We found out that what is in those small bags has nothing to do with guns. So there's really great people. So my perception and my, knowledge about American girls is really wonderful.
And I know that it is almost 9 o'clock. So North Star, did you have one more question that you would like to ask Mr. Dau?
I do. Do you still keep in contact with the teacher who taught you things back when you were like 17?
No. The teacher, if you read my book, you can find his name. Is Kolatak. There were many teachers. I haven't been in contact with them. I've been asking him. The last time I heard about him, he was sick. And I was asking if there's any contact information that I can get so that I can contact him and to appreciate what he has done in my life. Because education transformed me to become who I am today. This is why I really like to talk to students like you guys. Whether you are as part as North Star or Lincoln or the other group, education is the best. It has given me tools, it has given me equipment. It has equipped me to where I am today. And see, I'm talking to you, using your language, And because of education, I was so successful. And so for those who are taking education so very lightly, or instruction from your teachers, really think again. When we were in a refugee camp, we were dying. We were saying, dying for education. We said, if I can get where I can go to school. And I was so happy when I was allowed to get financial aid here and work hard to keep my grade high up so that I continue to have a scholarship. Look at me. So why am I getting a scholarship from a money that none of my family ever worked in America to pay tax? Don't you think you guys are very, very, very lucky to be in? I know you know that. But as somebody who is an outsider, I would say you are so lucky. Even to be able to borrow money to go to school, leave alone other things, but be able to borrow. In the refugee camp in South Sudan, there was nothing to borrow to go to school. Because the school will give you what you do not have today. If you don't have mom, you don't have dad, or if they are struggling as well, education is number one, because it's going to bring you what you really lack. As I said before, you don't need to give up, because giving up will actually make you to miss what you're supposed to get in the next few minutes ahead of you. So education is really, really important.
Can everybody take a minute and help me thank John Dau for speaking with us today? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lend your foot.